But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
What's up, Faithful? Welcome to the 49er Faithful UK Live. As always, I'm your host, Paul Hope, and today I'm delighted to be welcoming back a returning guest, one who was belting out the theme tune backstage, but today she has to contain herself because she's live on YouTube with the 49er Faithful UK. We are going to have a look at how our journey began, how an Englishman based in the northeast of England connected with his very own Californian girl, RedJet Shell.
Oh, look at me. Yeah, let's go. Thank you for having me. So good to see you again. And salute to you. You're doing amazing things. I'm here. Let's go. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. But before we get into all that, and much, much more, I'm sure, please do smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed and drop a message into the chat so we know that people are here. As I said at the start, a returning guest, the MVP, if you follow her on social media.
Uh-oh.
So
Here we go.
we'll start as we mean to go on. You may have seen a bit of promotion in the house. So, RedJet.
Oh, man. I'm going to catch bullets for this. Oh, my God.
Well,
That is
you are
my
the
favorite
self-proclaimed
photo. I love it.
MVP, and I did send it to you. So,
Oh, God. It's just like, are you trying to get back at me for something?
well, to be honest, that's the first time that I've ever worn an American football helmet. So I was at an event on Monday in my hometown promoting the team that I coach for. So it's the Easter school holidays in the UK. So we had what's called like a move more day. It was free activities for the kids to be, not connected to Xboxes and PlayStation. So I was there Monday afternoon, trying the helmet on, talking to the kids about American football. And I know that you have used that photo yourself on Instagram. So I did send it to you first. You knew it was coming, Shell. You knew it was coming.
I did. I was ready for it. I'm like, uh-oh. He never misses a beat. Never. What's up, Ty?
So Ty is in the house. Now, I'm delighted that we're joined. David, I was chatting to David on YouTube on my way home. So David Lombardi has dropped some news. And David has said that he's going to start following the UK Faithful. And he's here for his second UK show. So welcome, David. Great to have you, buddy.
Nice. There you go. Look at you. Just moving along. Look at you. Yes. See what happens when you wear a helmet? You see?
Well, funny story. I went to take the photo of the helmet. Now, I am in my 40s, so there's no chance of me playing contact football. And I joked with the chaps who were helping me run the event. I said, if Tracy sees this show, she's going to go mad. And my phone literally started ringing. And I was like, that's scary. I was like, hello? I was like, don't worry. Coach is not putting me in. Coach is not putting me in just yet. But Ty Alston is liking the promotion. We've got to get the people talking.
I know, right? I love it. You looked great. I was just like, put him in. He's ready. Because mine doesn't fit. Yours fits. Okay? Mine just, when you put it on, when I put mine on, you can't even see my eyes. You see right about here. So you can't see anything. Thank you. Yes.
That jacket is fire. You must have had the ups and downs. You got the jacket. You unveiled it on social media. Then Juice gets released. But then he comes back. So
right. I know, right? It was like 5 days of just depression, right? And then it's like, he's back. I'm like, oh, I can live. Now I can live. I can breathe, right? So that was it was odd, right? Like it's like you're fired, then you're rehired. Like you can't make this stuff up with our team. we can never guess what's going to happen because there's with stuff like this, they're super unpredictable, as we both know that. So
Yes, definitely. So we are going to touch upon some of the draft talk, but Neil will be joining us next week for a special show, which I'll promote at the end. So we're going to do our mock draft without El Presidente because he's on holiday. So
oh,
Neil will be
fun.
joining myself, Gareth, and Nadji for a special NFL mock draft show on Monday. So
Nice. There you go.
he's all excited. So
Yeah, me. Yay.
I'm excited because the NFL off-season can seem such a long time,
Yeah.
but it seems to have
Yeah.
gone quite quick for me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I've
Me
done
too.
many mock drafts. This time of year, I look forward to because the other content creators tend to reach out. So obviously, John Chapman had me on, Brad
Yeah.
Gray on Friday.
Go for it. Nice. You did so well. Unscripted.
Unscripted, yeah.
Unplanned, on everything, right?
So the reason, Faithful, that that show wasn't promoted is I had reached out to Brad and we'd been trying to get on the same time frame, same schedule. And I said off air to RedJet that I thought I was going on Brad's show. So Friday, I'm sat here, 10 minutes to go, and I'm thinking, where's the link? You normally get sent the link. You normally have a bit of chat about what to expect. And then Brad was like, I'm coming on your channel. So I quickly cobbled together a thumbnail, which El Presidente probably wasn't very proud of. And then we went live. And obviously, Shell, Brad's one of my favorites. He's one of my go-to content creators. And the vibes were there. It was a Friday night bonus show for the UK faithful.
Yeah,
So
it was awesome. I'm like, oh, they're on. Let me check in. Let me tap in and see what's going on. And I'm like, look at him on a Friday night, a random Friday night that I don't expect. I'm usually home on Wednesdays because I'm working. And then I'm like, okay, that one particular Wednesday I wasn't able to watch. So I was like, okay, I'll run it back, watch it later. And I'm like, okay, I'll just catch them next week. And I'm at home Friday and this show just pops up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching this. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
So what was interesting for me, as the people at home can see in my background, this one, Kaepernick was the reason I'm a 49ers fan. My story is well documented that I fell in love with number 7, but Kaepernick was Brad's draft crush. And he said like it was the first time that he had a draft crush drafted by the Niners. And so we obviously talked about that. But yes, so I'm not sure if you were aware of that because we met many moons ago on a Saturday. It was Saturday afternoon for me, so it must have been Saturday morning for you. Was it
Probably,
early for you?
Yeah, it was early. Yeah, and oh boy, the conversations we have had, and now dare I say it, 4 years? Can you imagine 2 people that have never crossed paths? We meet on some social media platform, and here we are 4 years later, and all I remember is this person saying, I want to do content. I really want to get into content. And not only have you done it, you've actually met with and spoke to my hero. And I'm like, oh, it's nowhere but up for you. I'm just like, yes. And I was mad because I dropped off the chat that day. I didn't even know he was coming.
No,
I thought you guys were done. And I was like, oh, and I come back and I'm like, wait, they're still here? And they're like, yeah, they're talking about Patrick Willis. I was like, what? Oh, man, what? Stop it.
So Patrick Willis, again, similar to the Brad Graham. So obviously we ran a collaboration with Jordan Spector, who had designed the Immortals trading card. And I remember getting the DM on social media from Jordan. And at first I thought, this is too good to be true. Basically, he was like, I understand you're a content creator in the UK. Patrick's got this trading card. He's trying to get the word out. Any chance of a collaboration? So as you can imagine, Shell, you know, I did my homework and I thought, wow, this checks out. So the first date we had, Patrick had to cancel last minute, which Patrick Willis, you're not going to get too cross at. So he did promise to come back on. So we decided that next time it happened, we would just kind of let it happen. Okay. So, it's 12 noon where you are now, to 8 p.m. where we are. So Jordan jumped on, we're chatting like me and you are now. And then he sent a private message to me and Lee, and he was like, Patrick can come on in about 45 minutes time. Do you think you can keep the show going that long? And we were like, for Patrick Willis, yes, we can. And obviously, like, for those people who might not do content, when you go on a show like this, we use StreamYard. So you send the link, the guest pops up in the bottom corner, and you have to invite the guest on. The goosebumps I got when I just saw in the bottom of my screen, Patrick Willis just sat there in his car, San Francisco Giants hat on. Now, we were warned that he might only have 5-10 minutes for us. And obviously, those people who watched the episode, Shell, he was absolutely amazing. He was on for a good half an hour.
Yeah,
he took over the show. He was asking us questions. And then to show how humble he is, you've met Patrick and you've interacted with him on social media. He reached out after the show and thanked us for inviting him on. And then a week later, I got a follow-up message to say, thank you for all the people in the UK who've bought my trading card. And he's retweeted what we've done. And like you said, he was a hero of the UK faithful before that. But as you can imagine now, he's like...
way up here, and he's still this humble guy, right? You would never... just this average dude, right? Yeah, exactly. No one knew he was coming. Like, because I know you guys do the 1 hour and you pretty much stay to that 1 hour. And I was like, okay, I'm going to drop back off. And then I had a few minutes. I came back on. I was like, oh, they're still here. And then they were like, hey, Shell, where'd you go? Your hero was here. I was like, wait, what? So I'm like, okay, let me go back and rewind. I'm like, no, I didn't miss this. And so I took a clip and I videoed it. And I was like, put respect on their name, okay? Like they just got to meet not only my hero, but the Hall of Famer. How about that, right? I mean, we can't, some things in life you just can't script, like our friendship. You just can't, you can't script it, right?
So when you think back to, so for those people who are tuning in and might not be aware of our background, we're not going to name names as such as the other shows. So basically what happened was we have the podcast on the 49er Faithful UK, which was an audio only pod. And for whatever reason, I still don't remember, back then I got a bit of itchy feet and I decided that all these YouTube content creators that I follow, I fancied having a go. Let's just put it that way. And there was a UK-based show that used to go live at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon for us.
Okay.
The experience was good, but what I took away from it was the people that I met doing that content. And it was a little bit too busy for me at times. I'd log in on a Saturday afternoon. There'd be 7 or 8 content creators. I have no problem sharing that as the rookie in the room. I was very shy. I was very nervous. I was a little bit in awe. Obviously, I met yourself. I met like John V. I met Dion. You know, Dion, absolute superstar.
Well, we love Dion. Dion X. That's what we affectionately call him, because as you know, he's a very outspoken Taurus and he has no problem saying it. And if your feelings are hurt, too bad. Too bad. But he's also very kind-hearted, very, very soft-spoken, very easy to talk to. And when I met him on social media too. And then he invited me on his pod at the time. And it was just like an instant friendship like us. And to see you guys is going up here, you guys have never, in my opinion, you were always here. You just had to get to that, you know what I mean? To, to feel it for yourself, in my opinion. But to see all of you and your progress, I'm just like, if you guys are not hitting the like button, if you're not subscribing, it's kind of your fault. It's kind of a you problem. You know what I'm saying?
So, David, we are going to touch upon this a little bit later. So, the name of today's show was How Our Journey Began, and obviously some expectations of ours. But I've started the chat. We will come back to it, because let's just say, when I got this photograph, everybody, this photo was 4 years in the making, because when I made the trip to San Francisco in 2023, unfortunately, our schedules just couldn't align.
Yeah.
It was one thing that you've talked to me since. You were like, next time you come over, Mr. Hope, I'll be there.
Yep,
So,
I'll be there. Yep.
So we do have Martin Hughes to thank for making this happen.
Yeah.
So this photo was last October. So whilst we were having the watch party in Newcastle with the UK Chiefs fans, which I've got to
Mhm.
say, Shell, it was amazing. The Chiefs fans were all very good sports. It was a good night. You
Okay.
had Martin Hughes
I
handing
did
you your very own
in my
UK
face.
purple flag.
I have it. I have it. I have it. I'm so proud of it. Do you know I keep this with my helmet? It does not leave my sight. It's with me forever. And when we met, so you guys have your country code. So it's like this, 06 da 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 da. And I'm getting this awkward text message from this like jumble of numbers. And I'm like, who is this? I'm like, oh, that's right. It's Martin. Duh. So we had agreed to meet in, of all places, the Red Lot. So, backstory on the Red Lot, I met Miss Debbie for the first time prior to meeting Martin. Yep. And I parked in the Red Lot. Unbeknownst to me, I parked in the handicap section. Oops. And, and the parking attendant was like, well, if you give me $5, I won't, your car won't get towed. And I'm like, that's not happening. Just show me where I'm supposed to park because we're not doing this. I don't know you. And this is my car, and that y'all know I'm very fond of my
Yeah.
hoopty. So it's like I don't want to take any chances. So I moved my car over. I meet Miss Debbie. We had a fabulous time, and that's where I would meet Martin a few years later. And soon as he sees me, his smile went all the way up to here. He's got the flag. He goes, "I got something for you," and I'm like, and it was this awesome flag, and it has not left my side. It is never leaving my side. Neither are you. It's stuck with me now.
So Ty has put a message in there. I mean, I only got my 49th UK flag back in 2022 when Lee
Oh, okay.
came back from Vegas, and
Okay.
it's kind of taken a life of its own. The flag, we have lots of merchandise with the flag. It's plastered all
Oh,
over.
I love it.
But obviously, when the content creators like yourself started reaching out and asking for the flag, and you'll have seen on my social media when Frank Gore came over to London last year for the watch party.
Yes.
Basically, the relationship we've built up with the Niners is that good. They literally sent over a photographer, somebody to chaperone Frank, and we were left to kind of work with the bar staff to police the event, which, to be fair, because obviously we do stuff like this, the UK Faithful always kind of reach out to us anyway. And I remember checking with the social media guy who the Niners had sent over and was like, are we okay to use the flag? And they were like, are we okay to use the flag? Frank Gore had that flag everywhere that he went. So the sports network over here, Shell's called Sky Sports. So they did an interview with Frank. He was flying the flag. The Niners social media team released a lot of footage. So the exposure we've had in the last couple of years, I still can't believe it. And that's why I wanted to get you on tonight, because as an American, a big friend of the show, how do you feel when you see these Englishmen, Welshmen, Frenchmen talking about your team in the
Right.
Bay Area?
Random. I'm proud of it, to be honest. We, as Niner fans, we've gone through so much, and it's unfortunately been bad. And that's dope, Ty. To see people being so immersed with not only the team but the fan base itself, I think that's pretty dope. No, we don't have that sixth trophy, and we've been almost getting there. To see you guys still stand through it, stick through it, ride or die. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything else. I mean, there's other fan bases that have, they have their followings over, abroad as well. But I'm boasting when I say that ours is a lot larger. We are not bandwagon fans. We are real ones. Uh, there is a video of me with a different team jersey since Rod is in the chat, and I'm sure he's having a good time with me. Uh, and I look at it like I I couldn't be more proud of our fan base. And yes, we do get animated. We do chirp and chip at each other, but at the end of the day, this is what it is. We've built community, we've built friendships, we've built followings, and we've just kind of built a sense of family, in my opinion. I know it sounds kind
Yeah.
of like kind of cheeky cliche, but when someone just random that you haven't even met in person yet just reaches out and go, "Hey, Shell, hey, Paul, da da da, how you doing? Hope you're having a nice day." I mean, that all started just by being fans of the same team, and that to me, that's almost like a diamond in the rough. Going, "Yeah." See why I didn't want them to know I was here. That's why. But even that, like, that kind of that's more like that's out of love. We all know that, but to have just conversations just way beyond sports, and you and I've had several conversations beyond sports, and to build our friendship that it was always up here to me. It was never like, start here and build your way up. We were always like on a high note, and here we are. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait for you guys to come out. I know it's a lot. I get it, but if we have to pull funds, that's what we're gonna do because we're getting you out here. And hopefully our Warriors do well. Right off topic, but hopefully they do some things because last night was very
I was ready.
entertaining.
I was ready. I was gonna rock this.
You were ready, yes.
I said to
You were
Shell,
ready.
I was gonna rock the Steph Curry and the yellow residency hat. But part of the reason when you said a couple of weeks ago you could come on this show is because not everybody on this side of the pond watches the content creators that I watch. And obviously when I do the pods and I do the live show, I reference you guys. And like that, I've put Rod up on the screen. I tuned in last week to you guys on Terradome. So what's good for me, when you go live with Terradome, I'm at work at that time. But if I'm working from home, I can put YouTube on while I'm working.
Nice.
And to be honest, it was very humble last week because I jumped in the chat as I always do. I like to support all my friends like yourself. And then you guys straight away were bigging up the UK Faithful. You were chatting about our channel. You were talking about what we've done.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to do the crossover episodes, because as Ian has put there, we're a community, faithful for a reason. And I think that's what transcends, like you said, we all support the San Francisco 49ers,
Right.
but we've connected on other levels. We follow each other on social media. We talk about family. We talk about problems. Someone's having a bad day.
Yes, we
the
do.
photography. It's something that I know you and Lee have connected with. Cheeky plug. We will be sharing the link for your website after the show. When I asked for some help with the thumbnail, you were straight away firing photos across, and photos of the city of San Francisco, which just blows me away every time I look at the photos. I still can't believe I've made it. I know it was a whistle stop tour, and I hope to get back. It isn't going to be anytime soon, unfortunately, unless I win the lottery. But keep that.
We can work on that. we can fix that on her. You see why I don't like them? You see, this is what they do to me, and I'm sorry. That's my life. I mean, I cannot. I tell them all the time. I'm like, if you're not antagonizing me, my life doesn't make any sense, like whatsoever. Ty is my favorite. Rod is my favorite for the obvious reasons. But they're both talented by their own rights. Rod being with music, being a DJ and a photographer as well. Ty is a photographer as well and a content creator like yourself. With East Coast Red and Gold, they're doing fantabulous things. Jess she's just phenomenal. I would love to see more women doing it, but that, I would like to see it kind of, here, because it's just right now it's Jess and Mariah, and there's some other ones as well. But at the same time, I would love to see more. That's all. I would love to perhaps to see someone be that face for the ladies to feel comfortable talking about football, even if they don't know, because I don't. Let them tell it I do. They're just convinced that I know what I'm talking about on my day off. No, I didn't. I knew they were going to come in here and make me break character. I knew it, but seriously, like you see how they just make your life complete right here, right here in my head.
I mean, to be honest, some people don't like it when other content creators shout out other content creators, but I'm going to stay true to who I am. And you mentioned Ty. I loved Matt when I went on Ty's show. When Ty joined us at the gold mine, some of the footage that he got that day of our experience at Levi's. And
Oh,
it was like meeting a long lost brother, somebody that I'd
oh,
just seen last week, yet I was meeting him for the
right.
first time in
First
person.
time.
And then, the photo that he got arranged last year, George Kittle with the UK faithful flag, that came about because Jess, Ty, East Coast Red and Gold sorted that out. And I love the fact that we all help each other. I mean, I
Yep.
know
Yep.
we all kind of like, you want the likes, you want the subscribes, you want people to
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as I say to people, this isn't my day job. This isn't how I feed my family.
That's
This is
right.
a hobby. This is a passion of mine. And I would do it.
Mhm.
10 people watch, 1,000 people watch. I'm
Facts.
passionate about the 49ers. And I think the reason
Mhm.
this channel took off on this side of the pond is we don't have that kind of outlook that you guys have. If I was in America right now, wall to wall coverage about NBA. In England, it isn't. It's about
Yeah.
English football.
Right.
It's about cricket. It's about rugby. So we have to go and hunt for our NFL content. As Neil's put in the chat, we're 8 days away from the NFL draft. Yet there's nothing on the sports channels over here about the NFL draft. You have to go to
Wow.
YouTube. You haven't got social media. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you just said, like I was just gonna say it. He took the words out of my mouth. Like one thing that I'll say about you from the moment I met you is you've always been this person. You've never changed your script. Ever. Neither does Rod, neither does Ty. And I can say that unequivocally with like no convictions whatsoever. Like they in a lot of ways they keep as much as they make me laugh and stuff like that, they also give me that sense of humility, right? And they always tell me like
I have
you can
no
do it,
idea
you
what
can
this
do it.
means. Sorry. I had to put it on. I have no idea.
I can't with these. See why they're clowns. See why
Sorry
you
to
see that?
interrupt you.
But I feel like when you said like people that are reaching out and helping each other out, that's really what this is about because it's beyond football. Yes, we do get into our we get into our mode and we wear different jerseys sometimes, but at the end of the day, like we do have a way of working together. We might not always get along, we might not see eye to eye, but we're always like and same here. We'll always be here. Like I told you, anytime, reach out. If I'm up and I can, I'll respond. If not, I'll be like, hey, give me a second, I'll get back at you. Nope, I don't leave people behind. That's not my style. I don't hate on anybody. That's not my style. If I see you doing well, I'm gonna promote you. If I see you not doing well, I'm gonna lift you up as best as I can, if I can. You know what I mean? And some
Yeah,
people,
definitely.
unfortunately, can't. They don't either want the help or they can't be helped, right? Or they have this ego thing where I can do it myself. You can't. Photography for me does not feed. It doesn't feed me either. It's a hobby that I love so much, and it gets me away from just the climate that's going on right now. And I kind of use the climate to
Yeah.
get out there and photograph. I mean, I've been posting a lot of stuff lately with regard to what's going on in our climate in the U.S. And it's not pretty. But at the same time, sometimes you need to see that unpretty to understand what you have and really appreciate and hone in on that and be true to who you are. So I'm really proud to say that no matter what I do, I'm always true to myself. And I'm so proud of you for doing the same thing because from the moment I met you till now, I'm about to cry. From the moment I met you till now, it's like you've been this person that just always wanted to do and be better. And I'm just like, oh my God, living my life rent free, please. Because you're like a whole blueprint of, humility, always staying true, not trying to be better than somebody else, not trying to compete and just be this, oh, don't come to these channels, come to my channel kind of thing, or don't follow Shell, follow me kind of thing. It's not like that. It's like, hey, like and subscribe me, like and subscribe Shell. Period. That's who you are. And I'm just like, ah, we are getting the funds. We are securing the funds to get you out here. I said what I said.
Oh, well, I mean, the chat is putting a lot of comments in, but this one that Ty put on, I just wanted to touch upon. So thankfully, from doing this, I've met yourself, I've met Mariah, Steph Sanchez. So I totally agree. I mean, on the 49er Faithful UK within our admin team, We do have behind the scenes a couple of female voices. So Jessica has been on the show before.
Yeah.
There is plans to get Jess back on. Sarah, who's one of our admin members, she does the Zoom call for the draft. So for us, Shell, the draft next week is late in the UK. I'm talking it's like 1, 2 in the morning. So I will drop a bombshell here, Faithful. I will not be watching the draft live next week. So next week, next Wednesday, there won't be a live show because myself, Tracy, and the 2 girls are going away for a couple of days in the UK. We've got a couple of days off work. We're just going to, get in the car, a couple of hours away, switch our phones off, and have a couple of days to reset. So that's why we're doing the podcast show next Monday, which will be the mock draft show. Now, I don't know whether Gareth and Nadji have plans to go live next Wednesday, but I've promised Tracy, Shell, keep her happy. I've promised her a couple of days away, phone switched off. There's other people who can break the news. So, and this message as well, Ty, it does mean a lot because when Brad came on the show on Friday, I've gushed over Brad for a long time. And he was kind of the one, when I think back to 4 years ago, I thought, right, Shell, I'm going to set myself a challenge. I'm going to try and get as many of these great content creators either as a guest on my show or I'd love to be a guest on their show. Steph Sanchez had me on last year. Absolutely amazing. I love what Steph does. Her Nick Bosa impression isn't all she's known for. The draft work that she does, that list that she compiles with all the visits that the 49ers are having, it's invaluable. So I'm with Ty. We do need more women voices on there. So 100%. And I just wanted to kind of put the message out there that I am going to stay how I am. I'm not going to change. And Rob, I do appreciate that. So getting back on topic, because we do like to go down a rabbit hole on this show. So I know I'm not a massive college football fan. The reason for that, Shell, is because it's on a Saturday evening. My good lady puts up with a lot of 49ers stuff in this house. So the least I can do is not tie up our Saturday evening.
Right?
However, I believe that stands me in good stead this time of year because I'm not emotionally connected to the players because I haven't fallen in love with them. So when we went out to San Francisco in 2023, we went to watch Stanford versus Cal at Stanford.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Oh, nice.
As an Englishman, when you go to watch sport in this country, the away fans are kept away from the home fans. So I was really surprised that you're just allowed to sit anywhere. So we were sat in Stanford Stadium and it was just mainly Cal Bears fans. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where the Stanford fans were, but there was a lot of Cal Bears fans. And there was 4 young chaps supporting Cal next to me. And they were like, you're not from round here. We've clocked your accent. Who are you supporting? And I was like, I don't support anyone other than the 49ers. And then they were talking to Lee, who was a Stanford fan. Eric is a Stanford fan. And I got to enjoy. That was my first live American football game as well. And the tickets we got were amazing right behind the end zone. But I was able to kind of just enjoy the atmosphere. I wasn't emotionally connected. Stanford did something good. I could high five their fans. If Cal did something good, which they did a lot of on the day. Sorry, Stanford fans. Cal Bears were definitely the better team on the day. And I just remember thinking, like, this is amazing. So I don't have those emotional connections. Now, similar to John Chapman, I was asked to be the 49ers representative, Shell, on a podcast where I was the GM for the 49er. So it wasn't done live. What was pretty good was I got the text to say I was on the clock. And I remember getting the message and I had 2 names on my board. I had Will Campbell on the offensive line and I had Derek Harmon from Oregon. So I was thinking, which way the Niners going to go? I know Harmon at 11 is probably a bit of a reach for people in the chat, but I had to approach it how I felt the 49ers would. And this was a couple of weeks ago. And for whatever reason, I decided to go with my head and I went with Harmon from Oregon. Now, ideally, Shell, I would like us to trade back and get him later on because as the great content creators keep telling me, in the top 100, there's a lot of players, that, could fall to us.
Yep.
But where do you stand on which side of the ball? Would you like to see an offensive lineman?
Oh,
Would you like to
boy.
see defensive player? You know, putting you on the spot. It's what we do on a Wednesday
Oh,
night.
no. Okay, they're in the chat and they're watching me, so answer correctly, right? Of course, we need more offensive line help. We need that first place. Uh, if it was me, I'd just pick the dream team of the NFL, and we would get what we want finally. But at the 11th pick, I think the offensive side is most important right now. I'm tired of seeing Brock Purdy run for his life, and that's the spot. You know, keeping it, 100 grand. I'm tired of seeing him second guess when you shouldn't have to, because he wasn't doing that at first. You know, I'm not going to say we had this amazing offensive line, but he wasn't doing that. So I would start on that, but I feel like it's going to be more of the same this year, and I feel like we're in for, oh God, a disappointment. I hate saying that, but I just feel like this ego thing just will not go away. It's like an infectious disease. It just will not go away. It will not be cured. But there is hope, right? Like your name. And I'm hoping we get that, but it remains to be seen in 8 days.
Yeah, I think what's interesting at the moment, so I'm driving Tracy crazy every time I'm cooking or I'm washing up. I've got a podcast on, or I keep changing my mind, and people keep dropping the mock drafts. And good friends of the show, John Chapman and Wayne Breezy, they did a show yesterday, and they had some stats where they'd looked at all the players that the Niners have met with, and they used this point scoring system to see which position they'd met with the most. And
Okay.
Edge was coming out. Edge had the most points. So that was quite interesting, because I think for the last few years, we've tried everything to get that bookend opposite Nick Bosa. You know, we've tried drafting Drake Jackson. We tried bringing in the guy from Washington, whose name Chase. I can't think of his.
Oh, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Right.
They'll do it in the chat. He went to the Saints last year. We brought him in for, and I was excited by that because I thought that was going to be the one. So Edge does surprise me at the moment. Next in line, Chase Young. See, that's why Ty Alston's in the house. See,
right?
So we have tried many ways to kind of fix that position. Now, next on the list was offensive tackle. So that was quite an interesting, because Kyle Shanahan doesn't normally put a lot of stock. I mean, we got lucky last year with the 3rd round with the Punisher, who's Lee Gowland's favorite player. Then it was defensive tackle. So that blew my theory out of the water, because I kept looking at Harmon for Oregon, and I kept thinking of that connection. You know, we've always drafted well from Oregon in the past. But as it stands right now, I have no idea 8 days out what the team's going to do. I think it's the first draft that I can remember, Shell, where every team has their own 1st round pick, and there isn't a lot of hype of teams jumping up.
That's true. Yeah. We're not hearing those names. We're not hearing this person can do this or they can provide that. We're not hearing that. But then again, we're not hearing it yet. So, I mean, I don't know either. I mean, I'm at a loss for words myself, because I feel like what we need, we could get, but it depends on if they feel we need it. So is it, is it my call? God, I wish it was. As I get us, I would get it. You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick, right? But it's just not that way. I mean, if it was up to me, we'd both be drafted. We both have helmets, right?
What I want the chat to do, seems you've put me and Shell on the spot, and I can see the messages popping in. Put your draft crush in at 11, because as you said, Shell, there, Simon's theory there. We have to go defensive line, first 3 picks, best edge defender, then 2 defensive tackles. And Simon believes we can get Summit on the O-line a little bit later. You know, maybe the value's there, dependent on which content creator you're following. You know, Mike Green seems to be a lot of people's favorite. I know there's the off-the-field stuff, which I'm not going to go too much into, because that's not my brand. I'm not here to moan and whinge about people. Jalen Walker, if he can be converted, Mason Graham, Will Campbell, Tyler Warren, Derek Harmon, Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, Mikael Williams. I mean, Breezy was banging the drum yesterday for Johnson. John Chapman, who is my go-to guy for the draft because of his draft breakdown guide, is amazing, and he's been a good friend of the show.
Right.
So, hot off the press there, Steph Sanchez, who we've just been talking about, she's done an interview with Tony Pauline, must watch and good intel. I mean, Brad Graham is knocking it out of the market with, I don't know if you've seen, he's been interviewing a lot of prospects, and the guy he had on last night had to interrupt the show with Brad because the Broncos were phoning him to have a chat. Now that's pretty epic. So the prospect that Brad was talking to had to jump off because, you know, the phone was ringing. And one thing that I wanted to touch upon tonight, being an Englishman, I only discovered this sport late 30s. So I didn't grow up around American football. It wasn't something that was in our schools over here. It isn't something that the kids play a lot of at grassroots. It's part of what I'm trying to do where I live at the moment. You've seen my social media. I am coaching flag football at the moment for under 14s. But we are competing against a lot of other sports in the UK. But if you went back 5 years ago, Shell, no kids were playing flag football. So the fact that we've got flag football teams, we've actually got a couple of contact teams. Yeah. It's starting to develop. There's a long way to go. The NFL themselves are starting to do certain things in the UK. And this is what I'm going to bring it round to because you've mentioned the international market in London and stuff. So obviously, Matt Miyoko, one of my faves, but he broke my heart 2 weeks ago, Shell, after the owners' meeting.
What did he do?
Matt Miyoko has it on good authority that the 49ers will not be coming to London this year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And probably not be coming to London next year. So for my American friends in the chat, just want to say, selfishly for me, I wanted the Niners to come to London. Of course I did. But I understand the time difference. So, for example, if the Niners came across to London, for you guys in the West Coast, the game's going to be on at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 6 in the morning,
isn't really great for the TV market because the game kicks off at 2 p.m. over here for us. So I was disappointed from my own point of view because obviously we had plans to go down to London for the week because we would have been trying to get in the team hotel. We would have been trying to, you know, get to practice, interview some of the players. Yes. But what was more surprising, Shell, is that he announced that they'll probably be going to Mexico next year. Now, obviously, that's the team's preference. Yeah. The Mexico road game against Arizona looked absolutely unbelievable. So I'm not going to lie. When I saw that it wasn't going to be London, but Mexico were getting a game as a home game as well, that's a lot closer to you guys, isn't it?
By plane, it would be, I think, a couple hours, which is not, you know, your typical, 12-hour flight to London, something like that. But that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to London, too. And I'm like, I was like, I finally get to meet Paul and Lee, and I can take my camera and maybe even my drone and just, you know, go off and take a million pictures. But no, they want to go to Mexico City. So that killed my dreams. Thanks a lot. But I'm like, we could always meet in Mexico, right? There's always that consolation prize. But I was a little sad to find that out that they wouldn't be in London this year, or I think next year as well, as you said. And I'm just like, why? Why not? Or can we go to Germany? No, we can't do that either. We're just going to...
To be honest, the Germany game, the German fans are just as passionate as the UK fans, but because they're only just getting games, the tickets are really hard to get. So I think the Seahawks played over there last year, and a friend of mine, it was easier for him to fly to the States and go to a game in the States, and it was cheaper than it was to go to Germany. So when they announced the Colts game in Germany, I had a feeling it wouldn't be the Niners because I think, as you said at the start of the show, the fan base that the Niners have got, we travel well. So going as a road team into Cleveland or into Colts, they're not going to give that up easily. And I knew last year that the Niners had turned down the chance to come as a home team. So I thought it was unlikely that they would come as a road team. Now, Mexico, just imagine, Tracy, I've planned us a nice holiday to Mexico. Oh, I did not know there was. Oh,
I had no idea what's going to happen here. How did I know that? How would I know that? I don't know. Oh, you're horrible. I love it. So
well,
crafty. I love that.
she couldn't complain about a summer holiday to Mexico. But to be honest, now I've had time to think about it, I'm kind of glad that we know, because this time last year, the NFL UK social media account and people who were watching have heard this story, but
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to tell it. They had Deebo Samuel on, Shell, and Deebo Samuel teased big news coming. Now, I got very excited by that. And I was like, that means the Niners will come to London. I was like, right, I'm saving my money to go to London, holidays. And then nothing happened. And then the news announced that we weren't coming to London. And I was like, it just goes to show sometimes that they might not understand the fan base, because you can't get Debo to come on a UK channel and say, oh, there's big news coming.
You're
And
right.
the Niners could have been one of those road teams last year. So the fact
Should have been. Right. Yeah.
they've announced it now. So we've got a couple of people in the chat who were dropping their draft crushes. So David Walker, it's David's choice. Ty Alston wants a left tackle. Simon, Mikel Williams, if we go for an edge. If it's a defensive tackle, he wants Grant from Michigan or Harmon from Oregon. Simon likes Jack Sawyer. So as I said earlier, on Monday, we're going to be doing a mock draft show live. So if you are around, faithful, do join in, because we might let some of you make the picks and we might listen to suggestions. But as Neil has just put there, Shell, even though the team won't be coming to London, I have a feeling there'll be another epic watch party. And I'm going to manifest who I want to come to that watch party. And that is Patrick Willis, because we had Joe Staley, we had Frank Gore. Could you imagine Patrick Willis? Can you imagine your face if I'm like, hi, Patrick, can I just do a quick phone call? Hi, Shell.
Please
And
call
Patrick
please,
with
pretty please.
and Patrick with the flag will be pretty epic. But
Stop.
we decided to do our mock draft next week because it will be in draft week. So it's going to be a shock because Lee's not with us, because Lee's on holiday at the moment, Shell. So Lee normally has done about 3,000 mock drafts by now. I'll be honest, I haven't done a great many. Is it something you get involved in this time of year, mock drafts?
No, same here. No, I kind of watch all the different channels and kind of see what they're looking at, what they're leaning towards, what they think should happen on draft day, which is, God, 8 whole days. Wow, we went from 6 months to 8 days, just like that. So it's nice to see what people are wanting and what they, I don't want to say expect, but what they hope to get in the 11th pick, which is our first pick for this coming draft and everything. So it's it's kind of good to learn and kind of get a little more background, especially with Terradome having Wolfie on. They really battle it out. They catch a little flack for it, but for me, just personally kind of watching them go back and forth and really talk about these players, their background, their abilities, their capabilities, and even their weaknesses. So it's kind of fun to learn that too. So,
well, that's why I like watching all the different content creators. And what's been refreshing at this time of year, I know Brock hasn't signed the contract. I believe it's going to happen, faithful. But you cast your mind back to when we first met. It was all a quarterback controversy. Those shows that we referenced on a Saturday, there was a lot of talk about Jimmy G. Then obviously we traded up for Trey Lance. And it was just, and then obviously there was all the contract extension talks. But this year, this off season's felt a bit different to me. So I was quite surprised earlier on when you mentioned that you're not feeling too confident ahead of this season. Now, I know we're only in April, and obviously every team in the NFL thinks this year is going to be their year. And I'm known for being one of the more positive. But you seem to say that you're not quite confident at the moment, because, I mean, the schedule seems to be a lot easier than it was last year. We still have the core players. I know we lost a lot in free agency, but we weren't paying the money that some people were paying. And when I look at it, I was only Dre Greenlaw that I was really sad to see go.
Yeah, me too. I agree. Okay, so I shouldn't be basing this on the past, but you can't help but to
No, no.
because you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's another we're going 0-17. No, I'm just kidding. It's just all losses. You get an L, you get an L. No, I'm not gonna do that, I promise.
No, no. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just want your
Yeah,
thought
no,
process a
no, no,
little bit
yeah,
more. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah. Like I feel like I'm just looking at our body of work from the last 5 years, and it's always been a almost. And I look at people that are younger than us that have not seen us win a Super Bowl, and I'm just going, damn, you know what I mean? And then for us, you know, in our age group, like you know, we're getting older and everything. We're both in our 40s, and it's just like, are we ever gonna see this, or do we have to retire? Or is it a part of my retirement plan? I know, right? It's just like so depressing to talk about, but I'm hopeful that the season will be better. I mean, on paper, it does look promising, but then some of these teams are they're picking up people, you know, in trade, and you know, on paper they look awesome already, and we haven't even gone to OTAs yet. So it's like I feel like we can do it, but then I'm just right now I'm just like meh, and I shouldn't be like that, but it's just like this ego and this other stuff that it just bugs me. So I'm not 100% yet, but you know, September's a long way away, thank God.
No, it is. Yeah.
Thank God. So we have time to kind of breathe a little bit, and then also the schedule doesn't go out until next month anyway, so we're really not going to know who's first, who's last, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. You know, what our Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night's going to be, Saturday game if there is one. Morning, like early morning games, like 9 or 10 o'clock. Excuse me, because we're not going. We're
6
not.
p.m. game, Shell. So for us, we only
Yeah.
get a couple of your earlier games, but they translate with the 8-hour time difference. So for a
Right.
watch party, we need a 6 p.m. game, which I think I'm trying to work out the time difference for you, but it's 6 o'clock in the UK for us.
Gotcha. Right. Or
So
10 o'clock for us. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
The
that
West Coast. Yeah.
we normally get one or two of them a season. So sorry to interrupt you there, but
No,
the
no, no, you're
reason I
good.
wanted to ask your opinion on it is sometimes in our group, especially a few years ago, if somebody came across with a bit of a kind of a realistic attitude like yours, you know, maybe the team needed to improve this or you weren't feeling it. Sometimes we'd kind of like the more positive people would kind of drown them out a little bit. But since I've been doing this content last few years, I think it's good to kind of, as you said there, we can't all be like 20 Super Bowl every year.
Yeah,
And I think,
right.
as you've said there, for us, I have seen the Niners win a Super Bowl, but it didn't. I don't want to say it didn't mean anything back then. I wasn't the
Right.
supporter of the
Yeah.
team. My journey began in 2012. As I always
Yeah.
say to NFL UK fans, I've seen 3 Super Bowl losses. At that watch party in October with a Chiefs fan, I was talking to a guy who's been a Chiefs fan for 5 years. And I was stood there and I was thinking, he's seen 3 Super Bowl wins in 5 years. I've seen 3 losses in 12. Like,
Right. Right.
but,
13 years we've
you
seen
know,
three. That's crazy. I mean, to
but then
see.
on
Okay,
this,
so yeah, no, I. Oh my gosh, Paul. Oh, we're so here. We're so getting it right because the last time I saw a Super Bowl, I was 15. I was turning 16, and now I'm turning 46. Right. So we've had a 30 long years, and I'm just like, I hate to be hesitant, and I don't want to be like we're never gonna see it. It's just so hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel when all we get is that disappointment. And it was
yeah.
like the Frank Gore on the 1 yard line, literally. It was just like, dang. Oh, I know, right? Same. And I'm just like, you have the talent, you have good coaches, you have the ability and the capability. You have a good front office, you know, minus, you know, the why did they do this? Why did the refs do that? If you take all that away and you just look at the team as a whole, we're a good team. It's not like we're this terrible team, but I'm just kind of on this page of we're not, you know, we're not new to winning. We're true to losing, and that's sad. That's such a sad reality. But I'd like to be, you know, you get an L, you get an L, right? Of course, we're not going to go 0-17, but I feel like on paper we can easily go 13-4. We can easily go 14-3, but it's up to them. It's up to them to get, you know, get in that mode and you know,
so
like the Warriors last night.
Yeah,
Finally.
I'm pretty sure with Ty and Rod are not going to clip this. So I'm not going to ask you for a season record. I am going to get you back on closer to when close at the start of the season. We can do this properly. But obviously, we've been chatting off air. We've been swapping messages, and
Right.
this time of year, like you approach the draft, like you said, then 2023, I thought it was happening. The way the team were playing, CMC
Yeah.
was the offensive player of the year. That was
Yeah.
part of the reason, Shell, why I needed to get out when the group were going out to that Buccaneers game. I needed to be there to think, right, I need to say that when the Niners won the Super Bowl, I was at a game that season. And I honestly thought the stars had aligned. And then suffering that loss to the Chiefs the way we did,
Yeah.
I think this time last year, a lot of the faithful checked out. I know a lot of the UK faithful checked out emotionally. They were done. It was difficult to kind of create content. As we said at the start, this is a hobby for mine, and it only works when I get great guests like yourself on and the audience are on fire. But this time last year, I definitely felt that we'd got to the top of the mountaintop and fallen a little bit short.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bravado amongst Niners fans, but the fact that we've come off a 6-11 season, as we've said, we've lost a lot of free agents.
Right.
We've got 11 draft picks. Before we finish off, do you think we draft 11 players, or do you think Kyle and John have got something up the sleeve? I think we're maybe going to package a couple of them up and jump up, or do you think we're going to take all 11 players?
Okay, wild take. We're going to get all 11 players. I'm going to use the word hope and say, I'm going to use this as my wild take because I know they're in the chat and they're watching and listening to me when I
They're
say
not
this.
just watching and listening, they're recording.
See, right here, always rent free, right? Not only are we going to go all 11, but we are going to get all the pieces that we need this year. Oh, geez, what did I just say? Oh, God, I need.
No, but I mean, the beauty of doing a show at this time, we're fans first and foremost.
Right.
And my non-Niners followers, you like to come back and beat me with a stick about Trey Lance and the show me clips of old when I was like, Trey Lance is the future, he's the quarterback. I was like, do you not know who I am? The Niners could go 0-16 and I'd still be repping the red and gold. I'd still be walking around the streets, still doing the content. So, but I think I've definitely seen a shift, and I think the faithful are a little bit worried because of the free agency. I don't know whether I wasn't too upset about it. Javarius Ward, I totally related why I needed a change of scenery. Absolutely no hard feelings from me at all. And
Right. Same.
being a parent, it was heartbreaking to see what he went through. And you look back at our team, Shell, we all have down days. A lot of people see my social media, they see the content and create and think, oh, happy go lucky, Paul. I've had dark days in the past. I've had days where I've not felt good enough. Being a parent can be hard, but to see what Trent Williams and Javarius Ward went through. And I was very impressed with the fan base last year when that happened, the way we rallied around those players.
Yeah,
Did you feel that?
I did. I mean, like you said, there's days where you and I are usually posting all the ha and people are, either mostly laughing at us or, not like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're just enjoying what we're posting and stuff like that. And they have this, they have this moment of clarity. And when we saw these things happen to these two amazing football players, it was just like, damn. And then, me, I'm not a parent, but it's like, losing somebody you love is never, ever easy. And you and I have had those dark day conversations, to infinity and beyond. And, you've talked to me, I've talked to you about just things that were way beyond, had nothing to do with football. And we still, we still do from time to time. And I would just say, to all of us, like, keep doing, let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's be there for each other, because it's, yeah, we hate to see the loss, and yeah, we hate to see them go down in flames the way we did. But like at the end of the day, to see you doing so well, and you have this like, hey, I'm not changing my script. I'm just like, keep doing what you're doing, please, because we do need each other. You're not alone. You're never by yourself. You're not, neither one of us is above, and we're not. That's not what we're even talking about. It's not even about that. But when you rally around somebody, all those, oh, I'm not talking to you and I'm gonna block you and da 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 da. That's gone. It's just like, you know what, dude? Life is too short. Let's
Well,
let's
like
not let's not do this, you know.
like Ian's put there, I mean, when I say community, I mean the 49ers community. I love interacting with everyone on social media. I love obviously doing the content. If I'm not making a show like this, I'm watching a show. I had to commute to work today. I had to get 4 trains to get to and from work. Tracy was like, "What are you going to do on the train?" I was like, "Don't you worry about me. Headphones in, watching the
Oh,
shows, getting ready for tonight." And
right.
you know, like we said off air, for those people who this might be the first UK Faithful show you've watched, the reason for the Wednesday night show is we just want people to be able to come on and talk football. And like you said, it has been far too long since you were on a show. And I think is this the first one we've done just me and you?
It's the first one, just the 2 of us, yeah, because
First one.
the last one was the round robin. I think it was around the holidays. So yeah, it's been what, about 6 months now? Wow. It doesn't seem like it's been, that long of a, but we have so much fun talking to each other. It feels like we were just talking yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And with that person in my head, uh, and Ty and so many other talents. Please know that your work is not unnoticed. You are appreciated. You guys are amazing people. And to be in my life, yeah, you're stuck with me now. That's
Well,
what it
it
is.
looks like, Shell, we might have to do a show where we get Rod and we get Ty on because they've been very
Oh,
good in the
fun.
chat, haven't they? Maybe that's a show to pencil in, the 4 of us, and then maybe you can
Oh,
get your own back because whatever you've said, Ty is clipping for social media, and Rod
God.
himself has put on there that he's doing a troll job. Now, I do like to try and keep the show to an hour purely
Yeah.
because it is approaching 9 o'clock in the UK, and I
Yes,
do
yes.
try to kind of not monopolize the night. However, we're not finished just yet. I mentioned your photography at the start of the show. I will share the link after we've done this, and I obviously promote what you do on Instagram. But do you want to tell the people where to find you? I know RedJet Shell on Instagram, but
Yep, just Instagram. I do have a YouTube page, same channel. Through shellslens.com is the photography that I have done. I need to update it, obviously, but it has all my most recent stuff that I've done. Good to see everybody in the chat. Before we go, so proud of you. So proud of you, Paul. Stop. So proud of you. I'm so proud of you. See, they live in my. See, they make me break character no matter what I do. I'll try to be all. And they just break me, and I'm here for it. But I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing. Love the progress. You were always here from the moment I met you, and you're just skyrocketing. So keep doing what you're doing. And
well,
thank you for having me. That was awesome.
absolutely. As I said, you will be on again. I know Lee would like to do a show with yourself, but obviously he was on holiday, and we let Gareth and Nadji have a week off. It is a team effort. So the 49er Faithful UK, there's the 4 content creators. There's myself, Nadji Karar, Lee Gowland, Gareth Ellis. And when we put together this Wednesday show, the aim was to kind of do collaborations and get other guests on. And I know if you weren't a guest tonight, you'd have been in the chat. And that was another thing that I was keen to get you on and to get your take ahead of the season. As I said at the start of the show, Faithful, we will be back on Monday. So let me get my times right. 8 p.m. UK, 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a mock draft. So that's going to be interesting. I am having a well-earned break next Wednesday, but keep those notifications switched on because you never know. The chaps might surprise you. Everybody who's been in the chat, thank you very much. You've brought the fire as always. If you're watching this show back, do leave a comment. It does help with the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please like. Please tell all your friends. And Shell, all that is left for me to say is I've had a blast. Trust the process and go Niners.
Go Niners.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, Deep Clark, Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going.